Hi guys, how you doing? I don't know what's going on today. I'm having all sorts of technical issues, and not only that, I wanted to get everything set up. I had a microphone. See, look, I had a microphone all set up, and unfortunately, my laptop, which I use upstairs, has only got a headphone microphone import, and for some reason, the microphone wasn't working. So unfortunately, I'm still stuck with sounding like I'm in a fishbowl, which is really annoying. So I've had all sorts of technical difficulties this morning, trying to get online, trying to get on here. Here I am, and it's taken ages, so I do apologise. Oh, excuse me. I do apologise. It's taken forever to get on, and I said 9 o'clock, and it's now 8 minutes past. But hey, here I am. And I'm getting all sorts of messages from Google saying, did you know you just logged on from another computer? Yeah, I did know, and here we are. So unfortunately, I still haven't managed to suss out how to get, I need a moderator really, don't I? Someone who can come on here and do bits and pieces. But what we're going to do is, if you go to my Tempest Crusade Facebook page, you can put your questions up there. And I will answer them, and we will go from there. And talk, and we'll do blah blah blah, all sorts of things. Okay, so it should be up now. Spike Walker, if you're watching, it's up now. So today I said. I'm just going to send him a message that we would talk about Bowel Damage. It's live now. There we go. Old man posting. Okay, so today I said we will talk about Bowel Damage because I'm working on a vehicle, as you can see here, and what we're doing is we're working on some Bowel Damage now. Somebody said gravity defying tracks. The idea is that, as you can see there, that I've got to heat that up and bend it back a little bit, as though it's just happened. And that's the idea that I'm going for. It's just exploded. So we've been wrecking our Spartans. I almost forgot then. How wrong is that? We're going to be wrecking our Spartan up, and we're going to be looking at stuff at how we can battle damage our vehicles. Now, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I know that. It's not something that some people are interested in. Most people like pristine vehicles. Now, if we have a look here, there we go. So this is the sort of thing that we're looking at. Actually, the light's a lot better today, so I'm hoping the camera is. I've actually got another camera that I can connect up, but I still haven't worked out how it works. Okay, so if you look closely inside there, we've started adding some green stuff piping, and we can see some grey piping in there as well. So just to give the idea that it is connected to the hull, and we're playing around with the idea of creating something that's in a siege maybe, or is just taking the blows but still rolling along. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be connecting these bits up with little tiny bits and pieces. Now the idea is to heat this up a bit where the track just slightly rolls down. The only trouble with the Spartans is the wheels, like with all of these kits, is all the wheels are sort of just half done, and then there's a big ridge in the center, and then you see the other wheel on the other side. So you've got to be really careful when doing that sort of thing, and this will just pop off, and I can just sort of like loosen it up a bit. What I've tried to do is underneath, you notice here as well as a bit of a gap. Now I always have trouble with the Spartans, they just don't fit together perfectly, and I'm always worried about getting that perfect edging at the back. I'd rather have that than a little fixed and sorted than just a little bit underneath here that's just not quite right, like that little gap there, because that's easily fixed. Little gap there, there you go, that's easily fixed. And you can hide that sort of stuff. Bowel damage is for me just as important as, I look like flipping Elvis, just as important as everything else that comes to the model. And also, guys, I'm going to let you choose which legion this gets painted up in as well. Okay, so leave your comments down there, and that's the color that it will get painted up. I mean, it'll be going on eBay soon anyway, but not until I've used it in a few photographs and a few videos and stuff like that, because I want to do something special with this. And the idea is that I'm going to hollow out this section here. I'm going to have a dead guy across the top and another guy sort of like standing on top firing away, and we're going to see some shells laying around and stuff on the top, again making it a really sort of central piece, an amazing piece to look at as well, and just gives it that sort of like edgy look. I kind of like the idea of like these things would always have shots in them and stuff, because it just goes with the territory. You know, there's going to be battle damage here, because the first thing you're going to be shooting at is this as it comes towards you. And again, we've got some battle damage across the top as well. So it's all coming together quite nicely. I've also been painting these guys. Just started sort of washing these, and the next step is to start highlighting and stuff like that with them. I'm doing a whole load of iron hands, because I want to, like I said, I always try out, mix up different styles of painting and stuff like that, and different color schemes, because the legions have so much variety of color. It gives you a chance to play around. Now black, again, tough color. You know, I'm not a big fan of the troning, you know, the tron thing where people edge it. I've never been a big fan of that, but it's something that I can definitely play around with. Now I've also been working on this guy. He's going to be my ultramarine tech marine, sorry, not tech priest. Now this is kind of a toughie, because I wanted something that was a little bit different. I wanted something that sort of stood out from the rest. I've still got to find a really decent mechanical arm. This bit here, because I kind of like the idea of having a mechanical arm there. I went for these like little grabbers that are coming out, because I'm trying to sort of make my marines slightly different to the norm, give them a bit of different from all the other ultramarines that you see out on the tables and stuff like that, because there's so many ultramarines out there, and they're all painted really beautifully. I mean, you have a look at this guy. I mean, you can see that there's just absolutely loads going on with that as well. Even down to like the little mechanical arms coming out from underneath his, with like the little laser cutter, and even on his gauntlet he's got like valves on there and stuff, and green stuff tubing coming out, which is always quite cool. I kind of like that, and the backpack's quite nice as well. So I just cut up a load of bits and pieces and just add them to it, just to make him, just to bring him out and make him look a little bit more exciting. So we're talking about battle damage, the importance of battle damage. Okay, well, I think there's so many different ways you can do battle damage. A lot of people just do the chipping effects and stuff like that, and weathering and aging. I kind of like doing the whole wrecked look. So I'll actually take a model and I'll just strip it back, destroy it, play around with bits and pieces on it, add like as many holes and cuts and stuff like that. Now I could have done something today where I show you what kind of how to do it, but it's going to be really difficult doing it in a live video, but we can talk about it though. So the kind of tools that I use is I'll definitely use a Dremel straight away, just to, if I can get this to come in a little bit, there we go. So I'll use a Dremel to cut away all the sections that I want. Now you've got to remember that we've got all these pins that go down, like wheel pins that go down like that and along the sides. So try to keep that in there, because it's quite a nice little feature, and you can see it just there. If I get like a little wag pokey stick, you can just see it there. It's a nice feature to keep in there. And you know what, don't be afraid to cut away all into it as well. Now I did this after I sort of stuck everything on. I was like, oh, you know what, I kind of want to do something different with this. This I did separately. So I drilled out the bowels, as you can see there, and this one I sort of cut with a pair of clippers, and then drilled it out, and this one has been heated up and bent. Now I'm going to be doing some sort of like melter damage on this one. I'm going to be using a bit of green stuff as well and some plastic carding just to bring out the metal plating where it's just sort of exploded. And what you do know, what you do see when it comes to explosive damage is you tend to have a small hole in the where the entry is and a large on the exit. But with these, I mean, I'm going to be doing some really beautiful melter damage on there. Excuse me, I forgot how to breathe for a second then. Some melter damage on there, which will give me a lovely, really lovely effect by going through the oranges and yellows and stuff like that, which it's almost as like it's been hit with a melter gun and it's worn away. So the difficult thing is going to be choosing a color scheme for this, choosing a legion that it's going to work with, because again, I want to try and make this quite a narrative piece so it really stands out on a table when it's being played. I kind of like when I'm doing the tracks as well, I'll push in the tracks where I can just to give it that sort of uneven look, and I kind of like that because it gives it a really lovely effect. Unfortunately I lent on that side, so that's just going to have to heat that up and push that back down. But I want this as much as wrecked as possible, as though it's almost like, you know, fighting to survive. And I kind of like the idea of having some Marines on the top, just sort of like, you know, defending it, and a few dead on there, because I think it will look kind of cool. And it's its own narrative piece in itself, and that's the tough part about it, is coming up with that sort of thing. Okay, so I said to you, go to my Facebook page on Tempest Crusade if you want to leave any questions. I still haven't figured out how to use this. I do apologize. All I can say is, old man messing around with computers, and there's nothing I can do about it at the moment, but I will get there. Like I said, I've got loads of stuff ready to go. I've got a new camera especially for this, so you've got some better quality, so I can actually move it around and take a look and stuff like that. But unfortunately I haven't worked out how to get it to work, and if there was a CD that came with it, oops, I may have lost it. Okay, so what else is there? Well, we've been busy working out how to do stuff. Now, the sort of tools I like to use, if I give this a quick clean, because I don't want it to see it all dirty because it's not very professional. And at the moment, there's resin powder and dust all over the place. So this is my favourite tool. The Dremel, or any electric drill that has controllable speed, is your best friend when it comes to all sorts of bits and pieces, whether it be drilling out holes, whether it be creating battle damage, excuse me, or just general maintenance and work that you need to do on your model kits. And plus you can really fit some really minute drill bits in there as well. Then it comes down to these two tools. I still use that handle, even though I buy my blades elsewhere, and this tool. These are the second most important tools for creating battle damage. And green stuff. Green stuff's really good as well. Now I've got an awesome bit of kit that I like to use. I'm just going to grab that. So I do apologise if there's any noise. Now this sort of stuff is also very, very cool. Now if you don't know what this is, it comes in two sections, and what you do is you put your green stuff, so I'm just seeing what the dog's doing. You put your green stuff rolled up like a sausage, nice and thin, not too thin, but just thin enough. And we'll do a video on this very, very soon. In here, remember to keep these wet as well. And what you do is you literally are doing that, okay? And you're rolling the green stuff in the inside. Now what will happen is it will create piping for you. I haven't got any to show you offhand, but you've seen it in the model. And it will create piping for you, and you'll create this lovely, lovely effect. Now this is how they get that piping. If you've ever wondered how they get that sort of piping effect, well, hold on, well, we can see it on there. If you've ever wondered how they get that piping effect, well, that's how it's done. And you can make lengths of it and then just keep it, let it dry with green stuff. Or you can use two-part putties. Just remember, some stuff tends to stick, so just be careful with that, because the last thing you want to do is, is ruin those tools for yourself, because they're really useful. You can use them for anything. You can get rope ones, chains as well, where they make chains. And so there's all these sort of bits and pieces. Excuse me while I eat my breakfast. I'm on my turkey at the moment. It's really nice. And I need a quick drink of coffee just to get the day going. So I asked on my Facebook, this is it. I asked on my Facebook, where can you get good werewolves from? Now, the reason why I asked is I started playing the second edition werewolf again. Now, this, I grew up with this. And this is my favourite roleplay game of all time, apart from Vampire the Masquerade and Cyberpunk and Shadowrun. But this is the one that I sort of grew up with in my teenage angst, sorry, I should say. Sorry, it's hard talking when you've got a thing in there. So I'm looking for miniatures. So if anybody's got any good werewolf miniatures they want to swap, let me know. Or can recommend any. I will be grateful. Because on my birthday, we're having a big roleplay session. And we've been playing games every Thursday. Which is just, sorry, this turkey is dry but good. Every Thursday, and it's been absolutely brilliant. But my friends just tend to get killed. So we've decided to play Werewolf Second Edition. I'm getting the 20th anniversary book when it comes to my house. I've asked for it for my birthday. So I was very, very excited. I used to love Werewolf as a kid. Anyway, I'm getting away from what we've been talking about. What we're talking about is this. But it's nice to have these little random conversations. It's almost like you're here and we're just talking. We're just chatting stuff about anything, basically, at the end of the day. Okay, so let's see if I've got any questions yet, because you never know. Somebody might have posted something up on here. Here we go. Have we got a question? No. So from Spike. Tracks could do with horns being chipped, damaged. Yeah, I know, but it's early days yet. Wait till I finish with it. It's going to be amazing. Okay, thanks a lot, dude. Okay, so he's saying tracks could do with the horns being chipped, damaged, as they normally break off on MBTs. Well, I've got to do a lot of stuff to this, and so little stuff like that is really important to know. So I'm going to be playing around and seeing what I can do. It's difficult when you're dealing with resin, because resin's a really unforgiving mistress. So once you've made that mistake, then you can't go back. And so there's a lot of green stuffing, and unless you can get hold of another set of tracks. And it's one of these things also that with these tracks comes great responsibility. No, with these tracks, you've got a lot of green stuffing to create the wheels in the inside as well. So I'm going to be a bit cheaty with this and not give away too much on it. But what I do want to do is, and for those of you that have just joined us, because we've just gone up, we're just talking about battle damage on here and how to create battle damage. So the Spartans are really unforgiving model, because it's not like the old, I don't know if you remember the old Lehman Russes where they were all wheels. Do you remember those when they first came out? And then you laid the tracks over the top, so you could do, you know, stuff where the tracks had come away and you could see the wheels underneath. Well, they don't do that with these, because unfortunately they only sort of cast the sides in, which makes it a little bit harder to do unless you recreate all the wheels. And because I want to cheat this, I don't want to have to, excuse me, do all of that. I'm gonna probably try and connect these slightly to the top, but just so there's still some sort of anchor. That's why it hasn't slipped down. I don't know yet. Well, I mean, it's still, I mean, most of the time when I do something like this, it's the spur of the moment, and I sort of sit there and go, oh, wouldn't that be good? Yeah, I'll do this, and I'll just sort of change something. So let's have a look. So this is what I was talking about, those bits of piping. You can do some really amazing bits and pieces with them, as you can see in there, and they're also in there. So we can create all these lovely little bits and pieces just in there like that. Now I've gone for like explosive. I've warped the door as though it's like something's gone through and exploded and bulged the door out slightly around this side. Now my goal is to really play around with it and give it some really worn, torn look about it, and really sort of give it a bit of a battle damage look. So let's talk about how we do stuff. Hold on, let's just spin this round. Okay, so what I tend to do is I use a Dremel to get me into this sort of stage right in there, but I also go, once I've created the damage that I want, so we've got that just there. Once I've created that sort of damage that I'm looking for, I then get a Dremel and I drill down into it. So that gives me like a pocket behind the resin, because that's really important that you've got some sort of depth to it. Because the easiest thing you can do is just go, okay, yeah, I'll just go make some holes going forward, you know, and paint it up. But you tend to find that because vehicles aren't that solid, a side isn't that solid, it's like that, and then there may be another layer. So when this layer has been broken through, you've got like other bits and pieces in the inside. So it's very much like a wall, for example. In a wall, if you cut it sideways, you would have plaster boards either side. Then you would have, say, we're talking about a fake wall. Then we would have wooden struts, and then in the middle you'd have something to insulate it, wouldn't you? Like insulation that goes in the center of it. Okay, so even when you break a hole through this side, you've still got another layer of bits and pieces in there. So you try to create that when you're doing your effect, especially when you're doing your drilling effect. That's why it's really nice to have a controllable speed drill, because you don't want it on full blast all the time, because you need to be in control of it. Now I've tried doing it with a pin drill, which is a really slow, and it doesn't have that great effect. You need to be able to have something that moves a lot faster and can just take away layers and stuff. Now what I also tend to do is, where I've got my outside layer, so this is my outside layer, what I tend to do is I'll just take a section away. I won't cut it all the way through, so I won't go all the way through. I'll just take a section away so it leaves like a lip. So you know, when you're looking at it, you're looking at that from an angle, so you're looking like that. We've got this sort of lip, and then you've got your hole. Okay, so we can see it here. So if you can see, you can just see it just there where I've done it. So what I'm doing is slowly taking away the outer surface, and then just sort of bringing it back. So we're creating some sort of depth, and then we go into our hole. So you can see it just there, and you can also see the gap behind the resin that I've made, either side, like so. And again, you know, don't be afraid to do it there, because if you look, if I can get it to I do apologise, this is really no good for what you guys want, but we will do a proper video on it. Again, underneath there, we've drilled that all away, so it gives us the idea that it's hollow behind. And because our damage is coming up like that, so we've come up, so it's gone bang like that, boom, hit there, and it's exploded out that way. So that's the angle that we're coming in from. So you can imagine a guy just standing here firing his melter, and it's gone boom, or like a heavy melter on a vehicle or something like that, and it's just clipped it, gone through, hit the track, and exploded out that way. And we can even see that with the way we've bent, hold on, the way we've bent the top tracks up here. Let's see if we can get it, there you go. So we've got a slight angle going that way with the back track and the front track, which kind of works. Again, you just sort of have to create an idea, a story of what you're trying to create, and once you get that going, then it sort of all flows in. I mean, I tend to sit there and go, right, okay, so I'm assaulting this vehicle, what are we doing? Well, we're hitting it with different shots and stuff like that. So we've got the bolt of fire at the front, bum, 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 all the way up the side there. That's going to be a thick plate. It's designed to take a lot of damage, so it may never go through. This is the kind of stuff where it's a heavy laser or a melter will burn its way, but bolt of fire is just going to explode and maybe chip the front of it. So that's what we've done there. So that's what we're trying to create on the front there. And then you look at metal weapons are going to just cause as much damage as possible and burn their way through. And again, you could say laser fire hit that because you need to take out those bolters. So they, you know, some of the guy firing it may have jolted and it just missed and took away the top. So there's loads of bits and pieces you can do with vehicles to make them a little bit more exciting, and that's the important thing. Let's see if anybody's left me any questions, because I can't answer them on YouTube, because I can only get them on YouTube when this video is finished recording, which is a bit redundant for what you guys want to say. Here we go. What have we got? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, here we go. Thanks, guys. Somebody's really come up with me some werewolf stuff. I can't thank you enough. Okay, so they give me a wicked site, so westwindproductions.co.uk. I'm going to go check them out. Thanks very much, Peter. As for the Legion, for the tank, maybe use a loyalist Istvan, so the infantry on top. Oh, could you imagine that? Like, I don't know, an Iron Hands vehicle or a Salamander's vehicle with like a few dead bodies of like Marines that are trying to escape, and then one guy on the top still firing away. That would look pretty sweet. That would look really sweet. The thing is with this, whenever you do something like that, see, I'm really excited now. Whenever you do something like that, then it's you're hoping someone's going to buy it with all this sort of diorama on top, you know, to add into their armies. I mean, I did this. I don't even remember ages and ages ago. I did this with my Black Templars a long time ago. Had all these guys riding it. Lucky enough, somebody bought like the whole lot. I think Ren01, he bought the lot, and a few other people did as well. So, but I did like all my Marines sitting on top of the vehicles, because the old Vietnam photos that you used to see with the guys riding on top of the APCs, because it was safer to be on the top than it was inside, just in case a mine went off. So I kind of like the fact that it was a lived-in vehicle, and then from that point on, all my vehicles, I've kind of gone with this whole lived-in, whether it be bolt action, 40k Heresy, and everything else I do has to be lived in. And that's a really cool piece of advice. Thanks, Peter. Kind of like that. Okay, so Jonathan, hey mate, great live video. I really like your take on weathering. It's quite extreme, but that's really good for pieces that are meant to be part of the scenery. For gaming models, I usually just keep it sponge and streaking, but it's up to anyone to go further. But it's true. I mean, even I said that. Sometimes, you know, some people kind of like certain effects. I mean, I've had messages from people that go, I really love the model, really love what you've done, but I'm not into the damage look. But it's your own personal preference. I kind of like to create the damage on my models, and I kind of like to just go with that, because I kind of like seeing the visual damage, and I think when it's on the table, it just starts the story going, because I lose all the time in gaming. I've actually tell a lie. I won my first bolt action game the other day, but most of the time I'm losing in 40k, because I don't play it in the sense where I go, oh, I need that because I know for a fact that's going to trolley something else. I'm going to get that because that's going to trolley something else. I get it because I go, I really like those models, or I really want to, you know, play around with these, and I'll design these models, play around with these models, and go, right, there you go, that's cool. Even I know that they're going to get trolleyed. So I'm always the guy that takes the 20-man tank unit, because it just looks awesome on a table. And was it 80 shots? 80 shots? Come on, 80 shots or something like that. That's just amazing. So I always try to theme everything. But you're quite right. You know, some people tend to go for just the chipping and the dirty down and stuff like that. And I'll be doing the chipping effects on this, and I'll be doing the dirty down effects and stuff, because it will just give something to the piece to make it that little bit of extra, and make it that little bit more exciting as well. Because I do like that. I do like looking at a piece. I kind of like, there's a really fantastic guy, he's Japanese, who builds these beautiful models that are interpretations of real things. So he'll see a street scene, he'll take a photograph of it and all round and stuff like that, as much as possible, and he'll go away and recreate that in like 35mm scale. and the miniatures in 35. So everything is done, and it's perfect antique doorknobs, and it's all weathered. And I kind of like that, and that inspires me to go, right, well, do you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play around. I'm going to damage this up. I'm going to make it look like it's been through the walls, and then move it on. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's the kind of thing that gets me going. That's the kind of thing that makes me excited. Cheers, Jonathan. That was really cool. What else have we got? Let's have a look. I'm just sort of flicking through. I really hate computers. I get so confused with them. It's unbelievable. Okay, Chris Jacobs. Do you think we'll ever see a stripped down version of the 40K, thinking of Age of Sigmar here, not necessarily to replace regular 40K, but to sit alongside it? Okay, 40K. Now, this is a tough one because it's kind of changed the face of Warhammer in the sense that we've all sat back and gone, some people have lost it. Some people have gone, oh, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I'm going to see how it plays out. You know, the Fantasy Marine guys, the Golden guys, the Sigmar guys, it might not be your cup of tea. You might not like it, but as long as I can still use my army, and that's the main point, as long as I can still use my army, I'm not too fussed. Now, if that translated over to 40K, see, the trouble is they created two of the best-selling games. Well, they did, Warhammer and 40K. One of those had to change, and I don't think it would be 40K because 40K is still a big seller. And if you notice now, 40K is changing slightly. So I think they're preparing us for something. We don't know what, but I think they're preparing us for something. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. If they dumb down, sorry, that's the wrong word to use. If they cut 40K down into 4 pages, and you can pretty much use anything with anything, which you can do anyway now. I think it's pretty much at that stage where you can go, I'll have that, I'll have that, put that in there, put that in there. I think the only thing that with it has changed is Heresy isn't, you can't really do that. You can just sort of go, here's my Marine force, here's my allied force. And I don't play enough 40K, and I've not read the latest rules, so if I'm wrong, let me know. But it'll be interesting to see how they do that, because I mean, who then will stay with 40K? How many people will then go, I don't know, not interested in that anymore, it's ruined it for me, I want to go and do something else? Or will people embrace it? Because if they've played Sigmar now, and I'm hoping that people have played Sigmar, they can at least see how it plays. I mean, there was a lot of kerfuffle about it in the beginning. Really, to me, sorry, I'm eating, I do apologise. To me, it didn't really make any effect on me. It didn't really have any effect on me because I hadn't really played the game since I was a kid. And the rules when I was a kid to the rules that they are now, completely different. And then Sigmar. So I kind of like the Sigmar. I was dreading having to read a really thick book and carry it around with me, but who knows? I hope that answers your question, Chris. I do apologise I went off on a rant there. Infinity antipodes for werewolves. I might have a look at those actually. So are you going for internal explosion or just knocked out by lots of suppression fire? Spike. I don't know yet, Spike. I don't know yet. Like I said, I tend to go, I'll be sitting there and I'll sort of go, oh, well, I'll try this out. I'll give that a go and just see what I can do with it. I kind of like the idea of a melter weapon this side coming up like that, sort of just hitting it. I mean, I'll see how that goes. I might even do a shot coming through that side and maybe blast these doors out a bit more. I don't know yet. I don't know. It's one of those things. I tend to sit there and I go, oh, that's really good. I do use photo reference as well. But for this, I just sort of sat there on Sunday building it, and then went, oh, wouldn't it be good if I could do this and change that, and you know, just play around with certain bits and pieces of it just to make it a little bit different. And I don't think you should be afraid to do that. I don't think you should be afraid to tackle resin and do what you want with resin. Okay, it's expensive. Okay, I get that. I get that's why people sort of go, oh my God, what have you just done? I get that. But if we all sat there in life and went, I'm not going to do that because it cost me an arm and a leg, then a lot of things would never happen. So I tend to think if you can do it to plastic, you'll do it to resin, and some of the plastic kits are just as expensive. And it's weird how resin's getting more cheaper. Oh no. So I don't know. Still trying to get my head around it, but I'm just trying to have as much fun as I possibly can with it at the moment. And I may hassle you at some point and ask you some questions because you seem to know a lot about tracks. So I'll get back to you. You could stick it, right, this is from Jack. You could stick a wolf's head on some rat ogres and green stuff them up as werewolves. That's very true. I'm trying to be as lazy as possible, Jack, and trying to find some werewolves where I literally don't have to do much work apart from maybe clipping off a machine gun, or maybe keep the machine gun on and just painting them up. I'm just trying to find some really cool models that we can use to represent on the board. Most of the time we don't have any models when we're role playing, but every now and then it's nice just to have that little representation of their characters, just so we can say that's where you're standing, this is where the bad guys are. Ben says the forge skin wolves are awesome. Yes, they are really awesome, aren't they? But do I like my mates enough to spend that amount of money on their models for them? But they are really awesome. And I've got to say, I've been after that one skin wolf holding that guy. I've been after him for so long, and I think it was an event model only, but I've been after him for so long. And it would be such a beautiful model to get hold of. There you go, my birthday's coming up soon. Anybody wants to swap it with me, let me know, because I'm desperate for that model. Because I kind of wanted to do, with my chaos, I kind of wanted to do some werewolves in there now as well, some skin dancers. I don't know if I can have them. I'll probably use them as like beastmen or something like that, but it would be really nice to have them. They are really cool. What else have we got? Let's have a look. Oh dear, I'm suffering today. So I went to the gym very early this morning, as I normally do every morning, and I had some idiot throwing some abuse at me. So unfortunately, he stalled at the traffic lights just as I caught up with him, which was quite funny. And I was like, nah, just ignored it. You have to, don't you? In this day and age, unfortunately, there's going to be idiots wherever you go. Okay, so we're doing quite well with questions. That's been a really nice response. That's really nice, guys. But yeah, so it's important, I think, that you think about how you do things. But I'm definitely going to go hassle Spike at some point because the guy knows what he's talking about. But I think it's important that you consider playing around with resin models and don't be afraid of them, because even down to the loneliest Space Marine body to create your tech marines, as you can see there, you can do some amazing things, and there's so much you can do. Now I need to have a sip of my cup of coffee. The cheapest coffee in the world, but good. I don't know why I said that, but it is just good. Look at that, I'm getting messages from my friends. I'll call him in a minute after this. Okay, so what else have we got here? We've got some more comments popping up. For the Land Raider, Jack says, for the Land Raider, how about you put a penetrated yet not exploded AT rocket on the opposing side of the motorway? That like a rocket that's gone through and just hasn't gone off. And so you've just got like the shell. Because there are those great comedy moments in films where they go, and it just lands there and doesn't go off, and they quickly run. I think it was Band of Brothers where I saw that happen, and there's been quite a few other films. That's always quite good. I mean, there's just so much you can do with these, and it's. I mean, I don't know if you saw my green stuff. I once did a green stuff Land Raider for a friend of mine with all the horses, a White Scar horse. Remember that White Scar Land Raider? I once did that for a friend, and that was all resin parts on that, and then was all green stuff with plastic horses cut out. So you had that it was almost like based on the Mongolians, where you see all the horses running and stuff like that, and they're herding them. And that's what we kind of wanted. So we wanted that sort of crest coming up. So you sort of so that's the Land Raider top. You just sort of saw a crest coming up like that, and then they sort of rearing up towards the end and then coming down like this. So we had that coming down effect, and it looked really beautiful. But again, don't be afraid to do that sort of stuff. Press molding is really good for Land Raiders. What you can do is you can press mold the top sections, and then you can do it in green stuff, and then you can wreck the green stuff as well. But make sure it's really thin, and you can just layer it over the top, so you can actually put away cut sections in there, so you can have stuff peeled back, or you can cut whole sections out of it and place it in, and it looks so good. It looks so good. I mean, and that's what I kind of like about these. You can do anything you like with them. Okay, so let's have a look at some more questions. Where's my coffee? Yeah, Spike, you need to go and get some coffee, dude. It is the best. I don't know about you guys, but I always cup of coffee first in the morning before I hit the gym, or just a cup of coffee just to start my day off. I tried green tea for ages, just didn't work, just did not do anything for me whatsoever. But yeah, Battle Damage. A friend of mine, what he does is he puts sections together and works from sections. So he'll just put the tracks together, not glue it to the main hull, and he'll just work on it like that. And that's another way of doing it. I tend to do a bit of both, connect them both up, because you then get a little bit of control. Because the thing is with this, if I push down, I'm going to snap this off. So I tend not to stick anything on until I've finished on this side. And I can sort of spin this round, and I can then sort of work in areas that I need to work. So I think we're going to see on this side a lot of dents where shells have hit and bounced, or ricochet, or shots have hit and bounced off, ricocheted off, sorry, and kind of keep this as a working piece, unlike this side where it's just all wrecked and damaged. And it will have that really lovely effect. I mean, these are immense anyway. I mean, they hold what, 20 men? 10 Terminators, is it? 20 men? Can't remember. But they're so cool. Just amazing to use. Okay, so let's ask you guys some questions. So in the comments, please put down what Legion you think this should be painted in as, and do bear in mind that we're going to have like a dead guy and a guy standing on there firing away, or maybe sort of like behind this section here shooting away as well, just to give a little bit of a diorama look about it, because it would be really interesting to see what you guys come up with. And what do you think actually should go on top? That'd be quite nice as well. See what you guys think. What sort of style of diorama? So let's just have a look at some of the other comments. See if we've got any more questions. Right. Spike obviously hasn't got anything to do today, so he's bounced with another question. I noticed, well, it's not really a question. I noticed that the demi companies, etc. I'm getting messages over those, etc. Are based on old net epic army cards. If they were to change 40k, I think they might go down the epic rule set, which would be epic. LOL. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. Epic for me. I mean, you guys must remember Epic as well, because yeah, I remember Epic. This guy does. I remember Epic as a kid. It was just immense fun being able to play huge wars across a carpet, but inevitably those bits got lost. And you know, I can't remember the rule sets or the cards. I just remember the Storm Eagle dropship coming in, the Titan in the background, and it was these huge, great big engines sort of thing as this thing came in, tilting engines. Absolutely loved it. I don't know. It'd be nice if they did that 40k, but I don't like cards in games. I really get annoyed at having cards in front of me and laying them down. It just annoys me having to carry. I like a book. I'm not a huge fan of PDFs, but they're useful. I do like a book, a codex with everything in it, or just a rule book with everything in it. I'm happy to carry 2 books at any one time, my codex and the rule book, and that's as far as I'll go, because otherwise you'll just so much stuff, you know, dice, counters, tape measures, and all sorts of things. So, but I'm quite a lazy player, so I'll just take what I need and that'll be it. And I rarely go play elsewhere, although someone has challenged me or invited me to go and play a bolt action battle with me and my mates versus their mates. So I think we're going to take that. I've already said, yeah, I'm up for it. So we'll see how that goes. Let's just have a look. What else have we got? Well, we've got some more coming in here. What have we got? As for the Spartan Lunar Wolf, with perhaps their fallen banner draped. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Nice on Spike. I do like that idea. That would be pretty sweet, wouldn't it? An original Lunar Wolf. Or do you go? Horses troops, Sons of Horus? I don't know. I mean, you could even go and peel fists with it and do something along those lines. Oh, Jack said, too much epic there. But yeah, there's so much stuff you could do with it. I mean, that's what I like about model making, don't you? Is that you just let your imagination fly and you can do the most amazing things. Let's have a look at messages. What else we got coming up here? Speaking of coffee, have you tried? What is this? Fun rant bubble shots. I do not know what that is, but I'm gonna give it a look. It sounds fantastic. Over a gallon of coffee. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Peter, I like it. Send me more information on that. Okay. So let's look at some other bits and pieces. How excited are you for Star Wars? This guy is containing himself at the moment. Very excited. Now I got a fantastic privilege of be seeing on Friday a video. It's about half an hour long, unfortunately. I do apologise, but it's an interview at the Prop Store of London where we get to see some amazing things. Now, if you're on my Facebook page, my Tempest Crusader would have seen me holding a Stormtrooper helmet that was being bid on at the moment, and the bidding started at 20k already. And it's an original Stormtrooper helmet from one of the Star Wars movies. I'm not going to tell you which one, but it's Empire Strikes Back, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I didn't even want to hold it, but they forced me to hold it, and I was like, I don't want to hold this. No. And they said, just hold it and have a photograph with it. So I had this photograph taken with it, and I've got to say, I was absolutely blown away. But I saw some amazing things there, absolutely amazing things, and I've got to say, I was just like, it is like Hamleys for adults, and if you don't know what Hamleys is, it's a kids' toy shop in London. This place is just amazing, and it's not a walk-in place. You have to get an appointment to go there and check it out, and it's just beautiful. So I got to stand and hold some of the world's just amazing stuff, and now you can see all that as well in the video, but you can also go see it in an exhibition in London, and I think they're doing something in LA at some point as well, and they do stuff all over the world. So yeah, absolutely amazing. And just seeing Ben Affleck's spacesuit from Armageddon, and seeing the Armageddon spaceships, and I'm not kidding you, they're probably as tall as that rack behind me, right to the top shelf, and maybe a bit higher. And I'm 6'3", 6'4". They're massive, and I was just completely blown away by these beautiful models. So it was nice to see that sort of stuff. Oh, we've got some more questions. Manufactorian Primus would love to see how you would paint it up as Lunar Wolves. So, okay, Lunar Wolves is a big thing. Do you know, I've not done any Lunar Wolves. I've not done any. I really need to think about Lunar Wolves, I think. Here we go. What else we got? Ooh, Robert, how about using something like one of these favourite versions of Heresy picks. Now I'm going to click on that. You guys can't see it, unfortunately. Right, okay, so it is the Emperor's Children standing on top of a destroyed rhino, and you've got like them holding a banner, like a flag. Well, two of them are sort of holding up a flag, and it's the Eye of Horus in it. It is a beautiful piece. Yeah, you're right, dude. That could look really, really good. A little diorama piece, but also this has got to be used in a battle and a game as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I do like that. Keep those comments coming. Okay, guys. So we'll do a proper video very soon on creating damage effects. I'm really sorry that I'm not going to do it on here because the sound quality on this is really bad, and if there's a drill going on, you're not going to be able to hear me. But it's a really simple effect to do, and don't be afraid, I should say, to tackle resin, okay, and do some amazing things with it. The downside of it is expensive, okay, and it is expensive. I get that, okay, but don't be afraid. Resin's your friend, okay. It's not your enemy. You be in control of the model, not the model in control of you. That's what somebody said to me, and I was like, what? But it works sometimes. I don't know why. But it's really, really nice to play around with stuff, and you have the ability to do something wondrous. If you're worried, find bits and pieces, imagery, okay, on the internet that you feel is going to be perfect for you. Okay, things that you can reproduce. Do some practice. Get yourself like a block of small block of resin, because don't forget these things come on large bits of pouring resin, so we just have these blocks at the end. Practice on that, see what damage effects you can do with that. Also make sure you wear eye protection as well when you're doing it, because the last thing you want is a bit of dust flying up into your eye or a bit of resin flying up into your eye. So just wear a pair of glasses just to protect the eyes, wear a mask just to stop you from sucking in all that resin dust, because you'll create a lot. And believe me, it gets everywhere. I tend to just spritz around areas just so so the dust can sort of settle in a sort of wet, semi-wet area, so it's easy to clean up and it's not floating in the air. Okay, guys, so I hope that has helped. Thanks for the response on the Man of War video. I've got to say, I wasn't expecting that. Man of War, I was told that it was a Games Workshop licensed product. I didn't know what I was going down to see. When I went down there, I was like, what? Man of War? I'm there. And it's coming out for the PC as well, so that's going to be really, really cool, because I'm a big PC man. If you've got Ark Survival Evolution or Evolved, I can't remember what it is, come and find us on Steam. Come and join us on Steam. We're trying to expand the tribe, so you're more than welcome to come and join in and have a giggle with us. Your favourites are on there: Spud, Jojo Man, and a few others as well. And you're going to have a great time. So, guys, listen, you be good, you be safe. I'm going to finish eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee. I'm going to go and hassle Spike. And ask him a few questions about tracks, because he seems to know what he's talking about. And guys, I'm going to see you soon. So take care. Have a lovely day.